Here's your First Warn Weather Forecast First, sponsored by Anderson Collision Center. Visit driveanderson.com.
Although slightly improved from yesterday, it's still pretty humid out there and warm. Our temperature returning back to the 80s, briefly touching 86 in Rockford. We're now sitting at 84 there, 84 also in Rochelle and in DeKalb, 86 down in Sterling, 78 in Freeport with some of that rain cool air passing overhead. We have these scattered showers and a few thunderstorms that have been developing, primarily the thunderstorm coverage mostly south of the state line, but we could see a few of those scattered storms drifting our way through the evening and overnight hours tonight. A look at the most widespread potential for any thunderstorm activity along a front that will pass on Thursday. The timing of that, how much rain could come down, coming up in your most trusted forecast a little later.
A local couple reflects on the loss of their daughter 9 years ago today, the boating accident that killed Megan Wells.
Plus, the governor expected to announce his reelection campaign. The details on Governor Pritzker's reported plans to seek a third term.
And more than a dozen local nonprofits are awarded grants, the one goal all 18 organizations have in common.
Live from WTVO 17, this is Eyewitness News at 5.
Good evening, I'm Mimi Murphy.
And I'm Wendell Edwards. We thank you for being here. Tonight at 5, we start with the 9-year mark of a boating accident that took the life of Megan Wells. Her parents tonight honoring her memory and recalling the night their daughter was killed. Eyewitness
News reporter Tyler Sorensen talked to Megan's mom and dad. Tyler?
Yeah, Mimi, Wendell, they say it feels like yesterday she was taken away from them and that they're still dealing with the pain and grief in the death of their daughter 9 years later. Now, each year on the date of her death, the whole family gets together to throw flowers into the river and listen to Megan's favorite song, a way for them to honor her memory along with helping each other overcome the pain, but never forget just how special Megan was.
Oh, absolutely. Yes. It's just when families together like that, we certainly lean on each other because it's affected the whole family. So we lean on each other, and I think it certainly helps.
Yeah, our grandson from Milwaukee, he's coming down for today. They all miss her, they all love her.
Now, as for the boater accused in this case, he pleaded guilty to a charge of reckless conduct and served 30 months probation, something the family says wasn't enough. Wendell.
Tyler, thank you.
New tonight at 5, we have an update on the murder-suicide in Janesville last week. Police now confirming another death in the incident.
On June 17th, police responded to the scene at the Aspen Square Apartments. That's where they found 4 adults with gunshot wounds. Again, we told you about this last week. Julia Vicker, Javarius Wicks, and Scott Roberts were all pronounced dead at the scene. Police determined one of them shot 3 others before taking their own life. A 4th victim was found with life-threatening injuries, but Janesville police now have confirmed that that person died in the hospital yesterday. This incident is still under investigation. We also have an update tonight about a fatal crash in Rock County that left a 26-year-old from Winnebago dead. Officials have identified Alec Hoffman as the victim. They say he was driving eastbound on Highway 81 in the town of Avon just before 11 Sunday night. That's when another driver crossed the center line, hitting Hoffman head-on. Hoffman died on the scene. The people in the other car were taken to the hospital with serious injuries. No charges so far have been announced.
Governor J.B. Pritzker is expected to seek a 3rd term in office. The governor reportedly plans to kick off his re-election campaign Thursday with events in Chicago and Springfield. This comes after months of speculation by the media that Pritzker would seek the Democratic nomination for the 2028 presidential election. It's unknown who would serve as Pritzker's running mate for governor, as Lieutenant Governor Juliana Stratton is planning to run for the Senate seat to be vacated by Senator Dick Durbin. Illinois' gubernatorial election will be held in November of 2026. Illinois House Republican leader Tony McCombie has announced her intention to seek re-election in 2026. McCombie represents Illinois' 89th district, which covers parts of several state line area counties. She was elected as House Republican leader in both 2022 and 2024.
A judge has sentenced a Rockford gang member to more than 6 years in federal prison. Jovino Ramirez pleaded guilty to charges of possession with intent to deliver cocaine and meth and possession of a loaded firearm. State police arrested him during a traffic stop in May of last year. Officials say he had nearly 20 pounds of cocaine and nearly 2 pounds of meth in the car at the time, along with that loaded gun. Ramirez was sentenced Monday. And we have an update tonight about the veteran who lost his van and his livelihood after that van was damaged in a 3-car crash. Remember this story? We talked to Walter Fuchs today. He tells us he is now back on the road, driving, escorting for large hauls. We told you how he lost this van, which was wheelchair accessible, in a crash back in May. After our story aired, he said he did receive enough money to make repairs to use a different van, one though that still needs a lot of work. But the Vietnam vet said it wasn't enough money to buy a similar van in Minnesota that cost more than $30,000. But he did tell us he is grateful to be back working.
A local nonprofit awards grants to several state-line organizations. The Mill Foundation awarded over $100,000 in funds during an event at the Music Academy in Rockford today. The foundation was formed to help support nonprofits, especially ones dealing with at-risk youth. 18 different groups were presented funds today, including Rockford Rescue Mission, Carpenter's Place, and the Discovery Center.
The Mill Foundation has really invested in Discovery Center Museum, so we can take our Maker program on the move. Maker on the Move will go to area organizations like the Boys and Girls Club to help kiddos learn about engineering, STEM, arts, right where they are. It's service to the community exactly where kids are.
The Mill Foundation's been working in the Rockford area for over 10 years.
Close to $1 million in state funds will go towards improving homes on Rockford's west side. Illinois State Rep. Maurice West announced $930,000, let me correct that, dollars in infrastructure upgrades for the Central Terrace Co-op. More than 150 homes are receiving improvements. Some work is already underway, as you can see, to replace windows and fix electrical problems. Representative West says securing these funds was about securing a future for community members.
And at the end of the day, this is not an expense, this is an investment in our community. It helps our community thrive even the more, especially since we're focused on housing, which is something that we definitely need to have a priority on in our city, especially with everything happening. That's great. That means more people are coming to Rockford, more housing is needed. And so let's maintain what we have and build from there.
Renovations are expected to be finished by November.
Independence Day is next week, and city officials are preparing for the festivities.
When we return, State Line experts share some tips on how you can be safe around fireworks.
And tonight at 6, experts expect record travel for the 4th. The number of travelers you could be sharing the road with.
Our temperature today made it to 86 in Rockford. Not quite the 90s of the last several days, but we still have some of that humidity that has produced a few scattered showers. I'll let you know of the most widespread windows. We could see some of those storms coming up in just a few minutes.
You're watching Eyewitness News, your home team, with Mimi Murphy, Wendell Edwards, Sports Director Scott Lever, and meteorologist Jordan Wolf.
Independence Day is next week, and ahead of that, experts want to remind you to be safe as you celebrate.
Eyewitness News reporter Blake Dietz joins us now. And Blake, you spoke to doctors and firefighters today on how to be safe.
Yeah, that's right. Fire prevention experts warn to please just be careful if you're shooting off fireworks. Or even better, they say, is to let the professionals handle the celebrations.
July 4th, we had a rash of fires.
Harlem-Roscoe Fire Division Chief Jay Alms says the department responds to fires caused by fireworks every summer.
Fireworks were set off. They landed on the rooftops. It was dry, so it's not so much the fireworks that caused the problem, it's the dry grass and everything else, but obviously the fireworks started the fires.
Fires aren't the only worry. UW Health Emergency Medicine physician Jeff Potoff says he often sees burn injuries from fireworks.
We actually do see an uptick in patients with firework-related injuries, burns, or injuries related to kind of the explosions that can happen right around this period of time, kind of like the week leading up to about the 4th of July.
Certain fireworks are illegal to use in Illinois without a license. Potoff says some of the most common injuries, though, come from the simplest ones.
We'll see someone who's playing with a sparkler, they'll be startled, they'll suddenly drop the sparkler, and oftentimes it'll land on their foot. It's hot outside, they've got flip-flops on or sandals, and we'll see pretty deep burns in the feet from a sparkler that was inadvertently dropped on the foot.
If you are going to use fireworks, experts say make sure you're taking precautions like keeping a safe distance from flammable objects and keeping a hose ready. But the best advice, Alms says, is to let the experts handle it.
Leave it to the professionals, yeah, they know best. Just watch it. Don't be involved in lighting them. because they are hazardous materials.
Now, another important tip is to know when to go to the emergency room if you do sustain an injury. I'll have more on that coming up at 6. Wendell.
Okay, Blake, we'll see you then. In Rockford, you'll be able to watch the fireworks from the comfort of your own home.
Our annual special, A Celebration of Freedom, begins at 9 with the fireworks at 9:30. That's over on Fox 39. This year, we'll have 2 drones flying through the fireworks to bring you up close to all the sights and sounds. Temperatures are in the 80s today, but they feel more like the 90s.
When we come back, Jordan will tell us about this and our storm chances this week. His full forecast is next.
Now, your First Warn weather forecast from meteorologist Jordan Wolf.
It's been fairly humid over the last several days, although the humidity down a little bit from where we were yesterday, especially with that heat not quite as strong either. Still kind of a muggy feel out there and likely going to remain the case as we head through the majority of the week. You see some of that more comfortable air with the lower dew points well off to our north and to our northwest, and that's where it's going to stay, at least for a little while longer. 84 the current temperature in Rockford, 85 in DeKalb, 82 Woodstock, 81 in Harvard, down to 78 in Freeport with some rain cool there. Here's a live look with our Mercy Health SkyTrack camera out that direction, brought to us by the Rockford Career College. You see some of the bubbling clouds off in the distance. It did briefly rain out that direction as well, and those bubbling clouds, you can see how that correlates to a few of those showers just to the north of Freeport, stretching even into northern Winnebago County and into southern Wisconsin. Highest coverage of any more intense showers and even a few storms down to the south, primarily south of Whiteside and Lee counties, where there was briefly a severe thunderstorm warning down that way as well. We have remained severe weather free and for the most part even thunderstorm free over the last little while, and likely remain the case through the majority of the evening, with most of the showers across portions of Iowa remaining relatively weak here this evening, with more favorable conditions for stronger storms primarily south of Interstate 80. This stationary boundary, though, that's setting up to our north and to our northwest, going to play a big role in our coverage of any rain really over the next several days, and where that rain ends up going largely determined by the placement of that boundary. You see it starting to settle a little bit further off to the south. Highest coverage of rain up to the north, though, where you see those cooler temperatures, but tomorrow many spots still making their way well into the 80s for temperatures, and even close to that 90-degree mark going into Thursday. But Thursday evening going into Thursday night, that's where we'll get that frontal boundary that'll start to slip a little bit further off to the south, bringing that higher coverage of rain and storms our way. So let's turn this to Futurecast now and see how that plays out. There's some of those showers and storms currently in Iowa passing through as we head through the evening hours tonight, likely remaining pretty low in coverage. Pretty similar to what we've really seen through the majority of the day today so far. We might get a brief higher coverage of that rain going into early parts of tomorrow morning, and then we'll see the spotty shower and thunderstorm chances return going into tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow evening. Majority of the daytime hours on Thursday may actually end up staying dry for most of us here in the state line, but late Thursday evening, that's when that frontal boundary starts to slip a bit further to the south, bringing that more widespread potential for some of those storms. So I put this graph together to kind of visualize where we have our highest coverage of rain going over the next few days. Primarily in that Thursday night window as that front starts to move a bit closer. But nonetheless, we still have widely scattered to scattered chances really over the next several days. Highest coverage Thursday night into Friday. And then behind that front, things actually dry out for a little bit, although not completely dry. We'll still see the potential for isolated showers, but at least lower coverage as we head into Friday night and into Saturday. 70 degrees is where we head for the overnight low tonight. Continue to have those scattered showers and a few storms as well underneath that mostly cloudy sky. Back to 86 for tomorrow. Once again, the return of some of those scattered showers and storms, likely pretty similar in coverage to what we had today. Highest coverage of any shower and storm activity likely arrives then Thursday evening into Thursday night as that front pulls through, bringing our temperature from 91 on Thursday back to the 80s on Friday. Mostly dry for the weekend, still holding on to that isolated chance, but we'll see our next higher coverage of showers and storms on Monday before things dry out with high pressure coming in on Tuesday.
Thank you, Jordan.
Drew Collins is in next with sports. One of our state line football players has committed to a Division I college. Stick around to hear more.
And a former Green Bay Packer, Aaron Rodgers, shared some news today about the future of his career.
Now sports with Drew Collins.
Over the past few weeks, we've had some of our very own state line athletes commit to the next level. Today, one of our football studs from Belvedere North announced his next move. Belvedere North star Ben Bucher was a name I was quick to learn early during this football season. That's because Scott and I were saying his name a ton during overtime. Today, Bucher announced that he will be committing to play Division I football at the United States Air Force Academy. Bucher also had an offer to Army West Point for D1 football. Thankfully, we'll get to watch his senior year at B North, as that team should be a ton of fun to watch. Aaron Rodgers kicked off his Aaron Rodgers Tuesday segment on the Pat McAfee Show. With his move to the Steelers, nobody was sure if he would continue the segment. But in today's return, Rodgers said that he is pretty sure that he will retire following the 2025 NFL season. He then stated, what a better place to finish than one of the cornerstone franchises of the NFL. The Cubs are 1-4 in their last 5 games. In those 5 games, they've allowed 40 runs. The main problem has just been pitching all the way around. Jamison Tyone will be the starter tonight. First pitch is at 6:45 in St. Louis. And going back to last night's game, here's Craig Counsell and Ben Brown speaking after yesterday's loss.
They just got some pitches to hit, and they didn't miss them. They took good swings, they hit homers, and they put a big number on the board.
It just all happened really fast. It's really frustrating. It's going to be tough to sleep tonight, just knowing that I was that close to something really good tonight, and just as fast it all went away, so it's hard.
The Sox are hosting the Diamondbacks for Game 2 of their series. Hopefully the Sox can bring a better performance than yesterday's 10-0 loss. Righty Jordan Leisure is on the mound. First pitch is at 6:40. And after last night's walk-off win against Wisconsin, the Rivets will run it back at Rivet Stadium here in just a little bit. That's sports. We'll be right back.
Before we go, a unique sport is looking for its next generation of athletes.
These are extreme ironers. There's even an extreme ironing bureau, and it's recruiting. As these pictures show, the sport combines the thrills of extreme outdoor activity with the satisfaction of a well-pressed shirt. From the side of a mountain to the back of a car to 20 feet underwater, extreme ironers compete for the most creative pictures.
But why?
If you're going to get all wet, what does it matter?
What's the point? Yeah.
Okay.
Now that one I can see, a little scenery. That, no.
Upside down, anything you can do.
Yeah, I'm sure that shirt came out great.
You know what? I'm going to keep mine clean.
Yeah, they should score them.
There you go.
How many wrinkles did you get out?
Yeah.
And then also the most extreme picture.
I
Should
think
be a
people
double score.
They really make this up.
It's
they
an odd
have
combination.
Too much time on their hands.
Kind of like heat and humidity.
Right. Those two things shouldn't go together, right? But, it feels a lot more like Alabama. I know you're familiar with the climate down that
Most
direction.
definitely. Roll Tide.
It kind of feels like that around here lately, and that's going to be really the trend as we head through the week. Still the scattered thunderstorm chances, pretty similar to that weather down to the south. Firstborn interactive radar from Rockford Glassmore. Our highest coverage locally, arriving along a cold front that arrives Thursday evening.
Although I'm wearing the War Eagle shorts, colors. Thank you.
See you at 6.